Well, hi folks, and welcome back to my play-by-email game of Strategic Command versus the Taxman. So without further ado, let's see what moves Taxman made last turn. Yeah, my exposed submarine. Yeah, he can't really do anything unless he gets some destroyers there. Yeah, I guess he's moving his navy around, but we just can't see it. Okay, so major events during his term. Stalin is alarmed at the German annexation of Lithuania. USSR annexes territory from Finland following the end of the Winter War. 27 communist deputies are given prison sentences for disaffection. And Paul Reynard becomes Prime Minister as Finland's defeat triggers the fall of Daladier. Okay. Alright, so we have a decision to make. Our iron ore imports from Norway could be threatened by the British, who may make a move to invade Norway and cut off our convoys. It is therefore strongly recommended that we move quickly to occupy the country, so we have devised a plan to move units secretly to land in Norway. These forces should be sufficient to deal with any Norwegian resistance, and probably also to repel any Allied counter moves. Preparations will cost 180 MPPs at 90 MPPs a turn for 2 turns, and the invasion will take place on the 9th of April 1940. So it's the 23rd of March 1940 just now, so that's just over a few weeks away. So that's a couple of turns, I think. Would you like to authorize the invasion of Norway? Absolutely yes. And another decision. Now would be a good time for us to move into Denmark to secure our northern flank and the food imports that we receive from this country. It would also have a maximum effect if we occupy the country at the same time as we land in Norway, as this will provide us with a much more secure route to Norway. It is therefore planned to launch our invasion in early April 1940. We are confident of only facing minimal resistance from the Danish army, and in order to minimize disruption, we intend to leave the Danish government and king in place. As a result, our move into Denmark will only cost us 50 MPPs. Would you like to authorize preparations for the occupation of Denmark to commence? Absolutely yes. Okay, so we've got a number of reinforcements arriving, so I will place those at the end of this turn. Once I know where my units have all landed in terms of my moves westward, and then I'll move the others into place then. Okay, so I think it's time to bring this sub back to some relative safety. It's got a supply of 8. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring I just want to kind of put some naval vessels here, so if he does try to move through the Kieler Canal with the Royal Navy or the French Navy, I will be alerted. And he'll take damage as he moves through if he does move through, because if you move through another naval vessel, I think you tend to more or less always take 1 damage. So this submarine is fully supplied, so I'm just going to move him up there. I'm going to move this one back into that port. I'm not going to reinforce that just at the moment. I want to save my MPPs for upgrading and reinforcing the land unit, so I will come back to that later if I have any MPPs left. Same with these other naval vessels. I'm not going to take any of these out for any naval battles as such. So I think what we'll do is we'll come back to the Navy at the end of the turn. I'll see what MPPs I have left, and then I'll get a few of them defending this area, the entrance to the Kieler Canal here. So let's move on down to the land units and continue moving them across. Okay, I'm going to upgrade this one on the front line. You can see just upgrading infantry weapons and mobility has cost 60 MPP, so it eats up a lot of points bringing these units up to spec. Yeah, I've only got 119 left now. Really doesn't last long, does it? Okay. Well, I'm just going to move this one down and reinforce it next turn. Going to bring the armor down to the road here. And just keep bringing these across. I think, yeah, I'll just get the HQs a little bit closer for now, and then I'll kind of get them into the exact positions I want them to be in afterwards in a turn or two. So I want a core to come down here to just fill in the line here on the defensive line around the Maginot. So I'm just going to bring a couple of cores down there. My armies I want to bring through to the main advance. So I'm actually going to upgrade mobility on this one because this one is not going very far at all. So that way he'll be able to move up. Probably get to the front line in 2 turns now. And the paratroopers, yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do with these guys. I'm going to bring them down. I certainly don't need to parachute into the Netherlands or Belgium. But maybe they'll be useful at some point, maybe landing either behind the lines here or behind the lines in Paris a little bit later. So I'll bring them down for now and decide what to do once we get closer to that point. So I'm just going to leave that army there until I get a core down or a couple of cores there. This one's fine, keep moving him across. Leaving the Slovakians there, the 2 cores in Warsaw, and the garrison up here in Königsberg. Now we've got our reinforcements, so let's just have a look at the new units. So we've got another parachute unit here, the first Fallschirmjäger. So let's place these guys. So yeah, I think I don't know. I may do. They've got a limited range of how far they can fly before they are dropped, and it's actually really, I don't think it's that far. So I think even if I place them here, I don't really want to place them right on the front line. I think I'll place them here for now and shuffle them around later. Okay, some tactical bombers, very useful. Put that there with the other air units for now. And we got the 5th, another medium tank unit, the 5th Panzers. And oh, fantastic, we can put them right on the front line. I will shuffle those around a little bit later. Okay, and we got a couple of new units for Italy as well. And I will have a look at those in a moment. So I think that's everything for the German units. We've only got 44 MPPs left, so let's just use that. Let's reinforce this submarine. And this submarine, I'm just going to put that. Oh, I can't put that into hunt mode. I should have left that in hunt mode. Okay, I'm going to put a submarine there. Got 25 points left. Can I bring this battle cruiser up to spec? Yes, 1 point. And I think that's going to be it. We've got 12 points there. Can I do anything more? I can't reinforce any of these. Might be able to reinforce this one, yes. Okay. That's most of the Navy. I think it's just the battle cruiser here that is still needing reinforcement. I think everything else is fully up to full strength. Fantastic. Okay, let's move on down to Italy. Now, before I do anything else, I want to transport the infantry unit I've got down here while I've still got the points. And I want to bring that down to Benghazi. I'll do is I'll just move that garrison. No, I won't move the garrison. I'll just do that there. And then move it one space forward. While I'm down here, let's get the tanks up to here. And we'll keep moving this army across. Okay, beginning to start to take shape down there. So, Italy, we've got 51 MPPs left. I think we've got everything up to strength here. Let's just bring these air units up to grade. Let's give these the advanced aircraft. That's 25 MPP. Leaves us with 26. And we can reinforce that one by only 1, so that's 15. That leaves us with 11. And there's probably, we might be able to squeeze a point of reinforcement on one of these. On part of the Italian Navy there, yes. Okay, so we're down to 1 MPP. I don't think there was any movement I wanted to do with Italy at this moment. Just leave everything as is. Yeah, so I think that's the whole of Italy, but we've got the new units to place. We've got another HQ. Now the HQ, as you can see, there's no yellow highlighted hexes other than in Italy. When you receive new units, you have to place them in their home country to start with. Now, what am I going to do with these new units? Now, down here in North Africa, I certainly could do with an HQ. Supply is a nightmare down here, and Malta always interferes with supply to North Africa during the North African campaign. So, yeah. So I'm going to put the HQ down near a port, and I'm going to reinforce it next turn, get it up to 10, and then transport that down. Now, as for the core, I don't want that in North Africa. I don't think we need any more down there. But we will be starting a campaign against Yugoslavia in the future. So I could place it over here and then transport it across into this area for a kind of southern thrust in Yugoslavia, or I could place it up here. But up here will be the only Italian unit until these units join it. I think what I'll do is I'm going to place it over here for the battle with France, and then this whole group, this headquarters, will be able to lead all 4 units, and then I'll move all of them over to this area for the attack on Yugoslavia. So let's just place the core there for now, and we'll reinforce that next turn. So that's all of the new units. Let's just have a quick look at how research is going on. Very slowly. Infantry weapons is still only at 42%. Naval weaponry is only at 31%. Naval warfare is only at 35%. Goodness, it's very slow, very slow. So we're a long way to go yet. And Italy, yeah, still quite a long way to go. Long range aircraft's the most advanced at 48%. Let's have a quick look at diplomacy, because I haven't looked at this in a while. How's the USSR doing? 20% towards the Allies. Okay. Still quite far away at the moment, but that will keep moving towards the Allies. Italy's 69. Hungary's still 80. Yeah, nothing, no major shifts there other than the USSR having moved a little bit further towards the Allies than they were before. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's all we can do this turn. Now, a couple of turns ago, I managed to actually take out a light cruiser and a heavy cruiser from the Royal Navy. But to kind of put that into context, I've kind of been just doing a bit of research on the amount of naval units the Royal Navy has here. And I'll just list them out for you just to put those losses into context. They start off with 2 submarines, 3 destroyers, 3 light cruisers, 3 heavy cruisers, 2 battle cruisers, 5 battleships, and 3 aircraft carriers. So that's an awful lot of power there. And they also start the game off with, under research, naval warfare is already up to 1, whereas I'm still working towards it. And naval weaponry, they do start off with naval weaponry up at the 1 level, as I did. And so he will have most of his vessels already upgraded to level 1 there. So a formidable navy to try and tackle. But we'll do that in a future episode. Okay, so time to end the turn and see what happens. Okay, he's still disrupting my convoys, as expected. Great, we're getting imports now from Sweden again, but we've got quite a lot of spending going on due to those decisions we made at the beginning of this turn. So we've actually only received 80 MPP, which doesn't leave us a lot for reinforcing and upgrading these units once they get to the front. Fortunately, I don't think there's a lot more to do down here in terms of spending, so that hopefully will be enough. So I'm kind of thinking in a turn or two will be when we'll be looking to invade France. Anyway, that's it, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you are enjoying this series. If you do like this, then please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. That really helps me out. And check out my Patreon page. I'd really appreciate that. Thanks very much for watching, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.